This is Dr. Jonathan Hansen. I'm the president of World Ministries International, as well as Eagles Saving Nations. My website is worldministries.org. That is worldministries.org. I have once again with me David Manila, now Pastor David Manila. He used to be associated with a Philadelphia mob. And if you have not seen that interview or listened to it, go to my website, worldministries.org, and you can either watch it or listen to it. So, David, welcome back to the Warning Program.
Oh, it's good to be back. God bless you. How are you?
Yeah, we are both very busy, I know.
Yeah, it's very busy.
Yeah, it's a busy day for both of us. But just in case some people did not have an opportunity to watch and listen, why don't you just give a little summary of your life?
Well, I was born in Philadelphia. I was raised in a foster home until 10, went to juvenile hall at 10 to 13 for attempted murder. Got home to my mom at 13. She died 2 weeks later. And I wound up hitting the streets trying to follow after my dad, who was very connected with a lot of influential people, interesting people, and many well-known to be mobsters, Chicky Norducci, Philip Tessa, Angelo Bruno, and I wanted to be like him. And I set off to do what he was doing, and found myself winding up doing 15 and a half years of my life in state prison. And only by God's grace, but God, I'm here today. I should have been dead many times. There was contracts out on me. There was they tried to kill me in the juvenile hall at least 15 times. And but God, that's all I could say. Been stabbed and shot, but God. And when I walked out of the prisons and the jails, I said, never again will I look back or go in or do anything. And God had a different plan. He was up there laughing because today I'm a chaplain in Men's Central Jail in California, and I travel the country and the world going into prisons all over to share the gospel and share what God has done for me. And if he could do it for a knucklehead like me, he could do it for anybody.
Now, how many years did you spend in juvenile?
3 years.
So, and what was the charges against you there?
Attempted murder of my foster father. He used to beat me, and there was no child abuse back then. He put me in a hospital 4 or 5 times, at least 5 times, and there was no charges brought to him because there was no child abuse back then. So the last time he put hands on me and put me in the hospital, I said that was going to be it, and I took things into my own hands. And anybody that walks with the Lord and knows when we do things on our own, it has consequences, and there was some severe consequences. So but God again, and he has done great things.
Now, how many years did you spend in adult prison?
15 and a half.
Wow.
I did time back in Pennsylvania in a few prisons. I did it in Greatersburg, Pennsylvania, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, and Dallas State Correctional Institution. The charges were robbery, burglary, weapons. I moved guns, I moved drugs, but God again.
Now, let me ask you again, how did you finally come into a relationship with Jesus Christ?
I was at Greatersburg, and I heard something was going on at the yard, and I was in reception, and we weren't allowed to go to the yard, but I had connections, so I got the right clothes to go out there, and there was a group called Bill Glass behind it, Bill Glass Prison Ministry, and I heard the gospel for the first time as my adulthood, and it resonated. And I met a man, Jerry Graham, who wrote a book, Where Flies Don't Land, and I talked to a few other people, and it was just an awesome experience. And they gave me a Bible, a Good News Bible, and I started reading it, and it just everything resonated. I knew BS my whole life. I know lies my whole life. I knew cons, but when I started reading this, it came alive to me, and I knew it was real.
So you found the Lord in prison.
In prison.
Okay. So now you're out, and now you're a pastor.
I'm a pastor. In August, I'll be a pastor here at Ocean Gate. It was formerly known as Ocean Gate Southern Baptist Church. It's now known as Ocean Gate Ministries. And on August 7th, I'll be here 20 years. I also pastored for 9.5 years at the same time a ministry in South Central. I was 2 blocks away from the Rolling 60s Crips. I was 3 blocks away from the Florence Street Bloods, and I was 5 blocks away from the Florence Street Mexican gang. And we got to minister to all of them. And
Wow.
wherever I go, by God's grace, it is not me, but because of my experience and lifestyle, the men receive it in jail, they receive it in prison, they receive it on the streets when we do street ministry, because God's given me anointing to reach them, and they know you can't fake the game with people on the street, so they know who you are. They know, and my name is well known still in the prison system out here in California and back east. Out here, I was known as Crazy New York. I had a long ponytail. I was 258 pounds. I had 19-inch arms. And when I go into the prison, some people come up to me and say, "Aren't you crazy?" I said, "Crazy for Jesus." So
So what was that nickname again?
Crazy New York.
Crazy New
And
York.
yeah, I had lived in New York with my dad and my brother. My brother got killed in Brooklyn, New York in 1985 on New Year's Day. He was shot down. And it was a gang-related thing. And but by God's grace, like I said, I'm alive, and um, I just thank Him every day. Every day, no matter what we're going through. Like today is one of those days that everything's thrown at you. The devil's, we send a truck down to the food bank because we pick up, and we're supposed to pick up 8-10 pallets, and they said we're on hold. So I've been on the phone all morning with that. Then there's been other issues going on at the church, but that's what life and ministry is. It's easy for us to tell everybody how great God is when you can come in and the church is running right. You don't need a new roof. The food is flowing. The money's being given, and it's easy to tell everybody how great God is. But when you fly into out of Pakistan, and you've lost 20 pounds, 20 some pounds, and you're dehydrated, and you had stomach problems the whole time you was over there for 2 weeks, but God still used you. That's what people need to see. They need to see you in your weaknesses. They need to see you in your trials and your tribulations. I loved what I did when I was in the world, because I didn't know any better. But I love the attention. And, when I explained to you last time about my dad and the respect that he got when the day he picked me up, and I met him, from the time I was 3 years old. I met him when I was 11, and he took me out of juvenile hall. I wanted that power. When I walked into a room, I demanded respect. When I walked into a room, I wanted everybody to look at me. When I walked into the room, I wanted everybody to say, "Who's that?" And I got that. But with that comes a whole lot of other things, and I don't have that anymore, and I don't want it. And today I'm not looking for the glory, because God says all the glory belongs to Him. And I'm just so grateful. And when I go through trials and tribulations, our insurance was canceled. This was canceled. This happened. My house got reassessed when it wasn't supposed to be. So, the taxes went up 20 some thousand for the year, more than they were supposed to be. But in that, the people need to look and say, "Wow, he's going through it just like I'm going through it, or even worse, and look how he's standing." And that's how we have to do. We have to let people know that we're human, We have to let people know that we're going through something. But in the going through something, they have to see something different than they see in the world.
Man, it's like Job. Job lost everything, but he did not lose his faith. In the end, God doubled him with everything.
Amen. And that's, and we should expect that because that's our Father. He loves us and does. And when I was over in Pakistan, these people live in the village. There's 100 Christians in the village. I was so blessed to see they actually live the book of Acts. They're living it, and just like the apostles. And it was so powerful. And another pastor, he's known around the world, Pastor Farouk. Uh, he's known for all the work he's done in villages and stuff in Pakistan and putting water wells in. And I went to his house, and I had just met him, and they treated me so great. And I'm looking, when we go to the house, I'm thinking that because of what he was telling me and what other people told me that he has this big huge house and everything is fine, but they live in it's like worse than the projects over here, and the place is so he's so humble, and they're not making money, they're not living rich, they have a car that's 30 years old. So when you see men of God doing these things, it's very encouraging. and
Amen.
um and not only that, but in a country where you could be dead, you could be alive for Christ one minute and be with him the next minute, because Pakistan is an Islamic state. So um they don't a lot of people don't like Christians. While I was on the plane coming home, I got a text from Farouk. We call him General, and he please pray for Popular Pakistan because two Christians have just been killed. And he sent me a video, and it was so powerful. They had drug all the furniture out of the house and burned it. They drug them out of the house and they killed them right there. And so I've been showing it at church because people need to know what really goes on. We say we have faith, we say we love the Lord, but until it's tested, tried, and tossed, what do we really have?
Our testings are the acid test of our faith. How do we respond when we go through testings? You're exactly right.
People don't want to see the people don't want to hear how great Christ is because you got a new Mercedes Benz, or you just moved into a new house, and they need to see how great our God is when we're going through the storm, because we're either one of three places in life. We're in a storm, we're coming out of a storm, or we're getting ready to go back in the storm. And that's just life. Life is hard, life is beautiful, life is precious, but in it, how do we respond to people? How do we respond to things, that agitate us? How do we respond to situations and uh, when things aren't going our way?
Well, you're exactly right. Now, let me give me that nickname they gave you again.
Uh, Crazy New York.
Crazy New York. So you must have done some crazy things to get that nickname.
I did.
Well, give us
Um,
one or two examples.
well, um, I got the name Crazy New York because some people call me New York, some people call me Philly because I was from, I lived in both. But there was a Puerto Rican guy, and he always wanted to prove himself, and he kept pushing me to the limit, and he got loud with me one day, and I just lost it, and I bounced him off of I bounced him off of 3 or 4 doors and threw him in his cell, and persisted to go in there and whip the tar off him. And just for an example too, when I came to the Lord, I was and I finally surrendered. I didn't come to the God. I wasn't looking for him. But when God finally laid me down in the green pasture, which was a cell, I told everybody I'm done stealing. I'm done moving things. I'm done running to prison. I'm done. And I'm in the chow hall eating, and the guy came up to me and said, "What do you mean you're done? How can what's going on?" And I slammed my tray, and the whole table bounced up and everything off. And I said, "Look, I became a Christian because I choose to be, not because I have to. I'm not hiding from nothing. God didn't raise no punks." And I was quiet. I didn't look for trouble. But when it came to me, the blacks said, the black guys in the prison, the gangs, they said they call me Diablo because the devil, because when I got mad, they said my eyes turned different colors, black, and the Hispanics always call me Diablo. when I got mad. So, um, you know, I always told people, if you want trouble, I'm not the one, but if you can persist, we'll handle it.
Wow.
Um, and when I was on the streets, I loved to fight, when I was growing up. So it carried into me when I went to prison. So
And now your personality has changed.
yeah, I used to get out when people flipped me off, flipping me off didn't get me mad, but when they told me to pull over, get pull over, your mother, I would pull over and I would be in their car before they could put it in park, and I'd already be hitting them, and I took a gun off of one guy, I got shot. One guy, he got his gun before I got there, but I used to think it was so cool, I take my kids to school, and someone would, I'd be hitting them and stuff, but my kids were scared. I thought they were saying, "Oh, my dad's, this," but I didn't know how terrifying it was for them or other people, So, I thought real power was and strength was being able to take someone's head off, but I learned that real power is strength and control, and you know what you could do, but you don't have to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Warning Program. Dr. Jonathan Hansen, President of World Ministries International, Eagle Saving Nations. My website, worldministries.org. I have with me a former Philadelphia mob related person working with the mob, in and out of prison, juvenile, and then adult prison, had been charged even with attempted murder. David Manila, who is now Pastor David Manila. So, David, tell us a little bit about your geometry of the prison ministry.
Well, I went full circle. Bill Glass came to to share the gospel, and now I was a platform speaker with Bill Glass for about 8 years, and it was a pleasure. And now I go into prison on my own. Uh, I went to Belize last year, and I went into the prison there and the jail and convalescent home, and uh, I was in Italy in the prison, and I've been to Africa, Nigeria, and it's awesome to be able to go back and see that God can use even me. And so this is some of the stuff we got today from some of the banks. I just want to show you real quick. This is what we do. I don't know if you can see the
Oh,
pallets.
yeah, yeah.
But these boxes will go out tomorrow. We'll give away 150 of those boxes for a truck with about 10 pallets. Also, so these are
Yeah, we've lost a little bit of
and we will probably give away about 12, and tomorrow we'll give away.
Hey, David, we've lost some of the communication.
Can you hear me?
Barely
Can you hear
now,
me?
but we did lose some of that communication where you were explaining those pictures.
Oh yeah, so we'll give out tomorrow. So today we'll give out anywhere from 8 to 10 pallets of food. We got it in our hallways. We got it everywhere. Right now we got about 40 some pallets on property. We're waiting for a truck to come in with about another 8 to 12 pallets. And tomorrow we'll pick up another 8 to 12 pallets, and we'll give each family 1 or 2 boxes of canned goods, cereal, meat, and then we'll give them 3 or 4 or 5 pallets of other stuff. So they'll leave with 300 pounds of food. And we just ask them, they say, "Oh, this is too much." And we say, "Well, learn how to give it to your neighbors." So we're trying to teach the community to also love thy neighbor.
So that's some of your food ministry then.
Yeah, that's some of it. And we have, by God, like I said, everything's God. And this is the back. I don't know if you can see the refrigerator
Yeah, I can see it.
and the freezers. And we got at least 10 or 15 freezers and refrigerators. And this is from Pizza Hut. And this is meat from a steakhouse. And all the freezers and refrigerators. We got eggs and orange juice. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
And all our freezers are full. And as soon as we empty them, like tomorrow, the next day, we start getting more food. And Can you see all that?
I sure can. So
Well,
we,
yeah, God has blessed us. When I was in the world, I was a shaker and mover. Drugs and guns and whatever, gold. Um, I was fencing. I bought hot merchandise, and God just used the talent from the street to do the talent for His kingdom.
so now you go out and collect these food items and then give them away to those in need.
Yes, and we have people bring us the food. We get from Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken. We get from Chick-fil-A. We get from McDonald's. We get from Whole Foods. We get from Bonds. We get from. I don't think there's anything out there that we don't get from by God's grace. And as soon as we get it, we give it out. We get from 3 or 4 different food banks. We get Krispy Kremes. Like today, we picked up like about 20 dozen donuts from Krispy Kremes. We'll get anywhere from 30 to 100 dozens a week of Krispy Kreme, and we take them to schools for the teachers. We take them to the police station. We take them.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening, watching the Warning program. Dr. Jonathan Hansen, president of World Ministries International, as well as Eagles Saving Nations. With me has been former Philadelphia mobster, Pastor David Manila, and he's been showing us what he's been doing, helping people with food, also with evangelism, going in and out of prisons. David, are you there?
Yes, and we sent 72 pallets to Ukraine when the war started, and we sent a container to South Africa last year, and we send anywhere from 9 to 12 barrels of food to Belize last year, and about 8 big boxes to Mexico, and
Wow.
every about 3 or 4 times a month we send different Spanish churches. They come over and fill up their trucks and vans, and they go to Tijuana, and they have different ministries down there.
Very good. Very exciting. So what's the vision and hope?
The vision of the church is to continue to grow to discipleship to youth and youngsters and our adults, bring them in, build them up, and send them out. Too many churches try and hold on to people, but we want to teach them and equip them and send them out to do the ministry that they're called for. Some are evangelists, some are prophets, some are pastors, some are laymen, but whatever it is, we want to train them in the area that it is and send them out. We're a little church with a big heart.
Very good. Where are you located again?
We're in Hawthorne, California, and I never knew there was a Hawthorne, California until they asked me to be the pastor here, and I wasn't even wanting to be a pastor, but like I said, I'll be here 20 years in August 7th. And Hawthorne is famous for the Beach Boys. That's where they.
How close
So my wife,
how close is Lomita?
Lomita is about 15 minutes away.
Yeah, I generally know that area.
Okay. Okay, yeah, it's about 15 minutes away, and my wife actually went to the school where the Beach Boys went to, Hawthorne High, and that's what it's famous for. But next time we talk, I'll talk to you about how God processed me to become a pastor, because I fought it all the way, and I never wanted to be one, but God had different plans, thank God, and He knew what was best.
Well, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. You're deep into Southern California.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
our ministry actually goes worldwide. So
well, good.
It's amazing what God has done and what He's doing. And we should expect great things because we have a great God.
Well, that is so true. So true. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you've been watching, listening to the Warning program. Dr. Jonathan Hansen, Ministries website, worldministries.org. That is worldministries.org. Special guest has been former Philadelphia mobster, Pastor David Manila. And next time we have you on, I'm going to start off with how has God helped you reach back and bring friends to Christ? So that will be my starting question, David.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. May God richly bless you. Have a good day, each and every one of you.
God bless you.